How are you?
I'm okay. I've just done a really nice event in York with a load of other YA authors. So I have
Nice.
got a new book. So this is who I'm reading next. So
Ooh.
I got Kate Weston's new one. It's called Coterie of Liars, which is a very fancy word. And
Mhm.
I had a little sneak peek on the train on the way home yesterday, and it starts with a diary entry, like a very fancy little
Oh,
diary entry from 1965. So I was kind of sucked in immediately. So I think that's the next read. That's out in June. It's very
and it
pretty.
really goes well with your office.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
So
Pink and
yeah.
black.
So I think that's a thriller, but knowing Kate, it's probably got a lot of dark humor and comedy in
Yeah.
it as well, and probably some period talk at some point.
Always,
Yeah.
always here for it. I'm reading Best Hex Ever.
Oh, that looks cute.
Yeah, by Nadia El Fassi. It's wonderful. It's about a character called Dina who is a kitchen witch. She has like a little bakery in London and she bakes little spells into her all of her products from her cafe. And people, it gets like this reputation for being like a really good luck place. So if you're on a way to a job interview or something like that or on a date, then you normally end up coming out having had stuff go your way. And
Oh,
she gets this like really buff, handsome professor come in one day to see her. So sparks fly, but it's really good. And obviously the title is excellent. So
yeah,
really
it is
enjoying that.
nice and shiny as well.
Yes, definitely. And it's set like October. So it's all autumn leaves
Right.
and pumpkin spice lattes and it's gorgeous. Yeah, really enjoying it.
Is it like a cozy
Oh,
romance type thing?
definitely, 100%. Yeah, definitely a cozy read. And her other one is called, which I haven't read, is called something fright. Love at First Fright, I think,
Oh, so
which is really good.
Halloweeny. Yeah.
Yeah, she came to a convention in Bedford, the one that the library worked with, the comic book shop. She was one of the authors and she was brilliant. And I was just sort of like running around, moving chairs and opening doors and stuff like that. But I managed to sit in on some of it and it was really good hearing her and the other authors talk about um, all their books and stuff. So yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Well, and
Oh,
I haven't got time to watch any TV at the moment.
no, I'm a bit the same. I went to see Mean Girls the musical at the
Oh,
theatre,
yes.
which was brilliant, and
Yes.
I wasn't expecting it to be because I love the film
Mm.
so much. But the cast was just they were so good. The girl who played Regina George was just iconic. She was like a Barbie. She really looked like Tyra Banks, like
Oh,
in
right.
her peak, like in peak
Yeah.
America's Next Top Model. And once my sister said that, we were just like, oh, it's Tyra. It's just Tyra. And
Yeah.
it was brilliant. Yeah, so good. Recommend.
Oh. Well, I watched Send Help, which I highly
Oh yeah.
recommend. It was really good fun. It's exactly what it does on the tin. Rachel McAdams, talking of Mean Girls, obviously was 100% like no notes. She was fantastic. And Dylan O'Brien, who was the other main character, he was also brilliant. And it's a really like fairly short film, lots of fun. Sam Raimi at his best, I think. So
Oh,
yeah,
lovely. I am
really
looking
enjoyed
forward to
that.
that.
Yeah.
I did see the new Scream, but we're not going to talk about it yet because you've not seen it. So
No, I haven't
tune
seen it yet.
in for when George has
Yeah.
seen it and we have opinions. Um, yeah. But shall
Yeah.
we move on? Our guest is
Yeah,
here and
we better move on because she's waiting for us.
she
And
is.
this is going to be a weird introduction because she's actually called Melissa Welliver, but we all call her Melliver. That's what she's
Yeah.
called online. Also, Melv's short for Melissa Welliver. She's a friend of the pod. Is this her third time on?
Yeah, she's the
Yeah.
official, like, most
Yeah.
appearances. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, if you didn't know, the wonderful Melissa Welliver writes young adult speculative novels, but her next one that's coming out, which is called To the Death, which is out on the 26th of March, is her first adult. It is an adult one, is
No,
it?
it's not. It's YA,
Oh, is
but
that why as
it's
well?
got that
It's
crossover.
Yes, it's very
Yeah.
crossovery because of some of the stuff that happens in the book.
Yeah.
Um, So that's out this month. She's also written 2 dystopian rom-coms called My Love Life and the Apocalypse and Soulmates and Other Ways to Die, which are awesome and like good giggle if you enjoy like reading that sort of dystopian, sort of funny, romantic type thing. So highly recommend those. And The Undying Tower, which was published by Fox and Inc. In 2024, I think. So yeah, Melissa or Melvs. We're ready to chat.
Okay.
Fix it.
Yay!
Well
There
done.
she is.
That
Got
was
my
so
favourite.
weird.
Got my
That was
favourite
weird.
dress on, Melvs.
Oh, and and you know I don't have any other clothes.
How are
Oh,
you?
it's good to see you.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I can't lie. Like when you were saying about the video last week, I was like, oh my God, it's March. I thought it was still February. So you were going like, I sent this video, and I was like, why being so pushy, Cynthia? It's February. Like, calm down.
January was 8 years long and February
Yeah.
was
It
3
was
minutes
so
long.
long this year. I was having plastering done, so it was awful as well.
Yeah. Too cold and miserable.
It was
But
bad.
yeah, so the year has started to just fly now because
Mhm.
we're like a third through March.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I
that's
said
crazy.
that this morning. I saw somebody and I was like, I spent months and months complaining that it was still January and now it's mid-March. I don't know how it's happened.
And not done anything like
I
since
know.
January. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't. Anyway, Melissa,
Melvs.
you are our most
Requested.
Yeah, most
Yeah, and
requested.
I don't know what the word is, visited member of the pod. Most
Frequent.
most
Frequented?
frequent. Yeah.
Frequent flyer. Do I get a loyalty card?
You'll get a little
Always.
present in the post.
Yeah.
Which
That'd
we
be
never
good.
used to do. So
Oh God, you
Yeah.
actually do a
Yeah.
present in the post.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
can't wait for that to come in 6 weeks.
If-
Yeah. It will if I've got anything got to do with the post. I hate the post office. Bane of my life. But yeah. Well done.
So,
Congratulations.
yeah, congratulations on your 3 visits to the pod. So the
I can't believe
the
I've been 3
format
times.
has changed slightly from last
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
So we're going to start with a little bit about you, Melvs. Tell us about you. Tell us about how you went from, I think I might want to read a book, to where you are now, please.
So just really short potted history
Yeah.
in 1 minute. So I posted something about this the other day on my Instagram. So I went to the first ever NYA Lit Fest. Which, if people don't know, is it was at the time the Northern Young Adult Literature Festival, which which also has changed its name now. God,
Yeah.
everything changes over time. How
Too much
rude.
change.
There's
I went
too
to
much
that as well,
change.
Melvs.
I know how weird, but I didn't know you. Didn't
No.
obviously. Well, maybe I saw you, but it wasn't too like massive, but it was like in one room. I remember.
Mhm.
There was like a stage, and they get like Samantha Shannon was there, and like Alwyn Hamilton was there, and Catherine Webber was there.
The
Oh,
year
yeah.
above, we refer to them as. It's like the year above at school, isn't it? They were,
Yeah.
when we were trying to become writers, those guys were all kind of published and established. And
Yeah,
See
like
what's
becoming
going on.
established.
yeah,
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
telling Catherine Webber that when she came on the
You
pod.
sat at the back of the bus, Catherine Webber.
Yeah, exactly. We were all like the geeks at the front. Yeah, I remember that. So go on. Sorry. I mean,
So no, yeah. So I was thinking, I'd been to like Yalk before that, and I thought about like maybe writing a book, but that was something that I saw the Facebook ad for NY Lit Fest the day before or something, or I think my mum saw it and sent it to me and was like, "Oh look, you'd like this," and it's actually not in London. So I went off with I took Callum with me, and I took a stack of books because I noticed some of the people going. I was like, "Oh, actually, I've got some of those books already." So I took a stack of books and got them signed. And I remember when that was it 2016, 17, 18? Those are like blur a bit for me. It was one of those. Maybe it was 2017, 2018. And I
I
remember
think
I was on
it was
submission.
2018 because
Yeah.
I was I'd given up and then I had one more idea. So I booked a one-to-one with Chloe Seeger. And I remember saying,
wow, that's crazy. Now.
Yeah. So she was doing a one-to-one, but you had to like line up down the stairs in the auditorium.
Yeah. I was too late for
one-to-ones. Well, she's the one who I said, I have got one idea and it's horror. And she just kind of gave me this little wide-eyed nod like, that sounds like a good idea. And so I went home and started writing.
Thanks, Auntie Chloe.
I know.
Thanks for believing in me. Yeah, I was too late for those, but also I was agented, but I think I was looking at maybe moving agents because I moved the next year and I was on submission or about to go on submission. And I remember I was just like, I'm about to go on submission. Do you have any tips to every single author? And of course they all like grimaced. Oh, sure, I'll be fine. And I was like, they really believe in me. They were very nice about it, but I could tell they were like, oh no, not another one.
I
Another
know.
lemming off the cliff. That book did not sell as well. So, but yeah, I suppose before that, I was at uni and I'd kind of forgotten about writing since I was like a small child. And then it never occurred to me it was a job. I don't know why. Never occurred to me it was a job. And then
That's such a common theme with all the people that come on here, including one of the hosts.
Yeah.
like, where did I think they were coming from, these books?
They just appeared. Rich
Yeah.
people wrote them.
Rich people wrote them. I don't
Or
know.
Americans.
I'm not allowed. Yes, that's true. It's all just being imported from America.
Yeah.
And I was doing a job at uni, which was like working for the history department and getting in people, because I did history and English. And I was getting in people who did jobs after doing a history degree to show like, look how diverse, because there weren't a lot of people applying to do history. How strange. And it was just as fees were about to go up as well, so they were like really pushing it, I remember. And yeah, I invited all these people. They gave me a list of like alumni, and one of them was an author, and I was like, she didn't do a history degree, like how is she an author? I don't understand. So I invited her in and really liked her talk, and then applied for a, which you don't have to do, but I thought you did for some reason, a master's in creative writing. I had like a very small amount of money left, and I decided I don't know what I want to do, and I threw it at that. And it was cheaper then as well. It was so much cheaper than it is now. So it was like much more affordable to do alongside like a part-time job. I was part-time childminder. So yeah, that's what I did. And then it was from there, really.
Who was the author?
I can't remember. Actually, can't remember. I think it was somebody who, now I look back on it, I think they were just really, they did a really good job, and this was hard back in the day, of self-publishing. So I think they did like excellent Indian self-publishing. And because, you know, before, God, I remember when I signed with Chicken House, I like looked on my shelves and had loads of Chicken House books and was shocked, because I was like, never heard of them. You know, until we started like looking at like publishers.
It's weird.
I think I've only heard of like Penguin, and then I look on my shelves and I'm like, oh, I have like 10 books from this person or these people, this team. So I think it's just one of those where I can't actually remember now, because I feel like, well, now I think indie is getting better at, it's very like indiscernible. If you do it correctly and you put in the effort, you don't just use AI on everything, you get a really good cover designer. Because like I remember Stuart White, who I work with, he self-publishes, and his cover, one of them's done by the same guy that did the Scandar covers. So you can get the big guys to do a cover.
Someone did his cover who maybe did a map in one. I might be wrong, but I'm sure we share an illustrator.
Yeah, he's got a few. He's got like proper professional, which I know now I'm saying it sounds stupid and babyish, but of course he has proper professional. Yeah, it's strange. So yeah,
but it is very easy to like just jump on Canva or like Photoshop and try and mock something up, and it doesn't always look as professional as it could do.
No.
Indies are having a boom with traditional publishers at the minute.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, which is cool.
And it's, I don't know. It's kind of everyone's dream when you start out, isn't it? Like, we talk about Wattpad a lot, and you're writing on Wattpad, and it's your dream for someone to like slide in and be like, hey, look at this book that you wrote. Actually, we want to publish it. And it seems to be actually happening now. We've got a guest who we're hoping to arrange, who self-published and did really well. So Delacourt Press bought the trilogy.
Wow.
And you're just like, you know, and obviously she put in an incredible amount of time and effort. I think she has illustrated her own covers, so she's obviously very multi-talented because they've kept that cover.
Yeah.
So she's obviously put a lot of hard work in, but it's very interesting to know that publishers are now keeping their eye on that kind of thing.
Yeah. And it depends how they're looking for it as well, because I think that there are loads of people I know who write on Wattpad, and they were like, my worst nightmare is for the other people to read this that aren't Wattpadders. Like, this is not a book I want to, like, they are people that query books, but they write particular things on Wattpad. And so I do think it's interesting we're picking up a load of, there's been quite a lot of Dramini fan fiction being picked up.
Yes.
And I didn't even realize, like, I'll look at the books. I don't really look at a lot of Harry Potter stuff anymore for J.K. Rowling reasons.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'll look at a book and I'll be like, oh, cool. And then someone will tell me later, you know, that's Dramini fan fiction. And whilst, of course,
do you want to explain that term for people?
Oh, yeah. So it's Draco and Hermione getting together like they obviously never did in the books or the films, and often it's quite dark romance for obvious reasons because it's like those darker later Harry Potter books and films. So like Alchemized is
Yeah.
Hermione romance, so I hear. There's a couple of others like the one Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy or something. I think that's
Oh,
the title. I believe that might be German
yeah.
fanfiction. If I'm wrong, just come and at me on my social media. But I'm pretty sure someone told me that was Hermione fanfiction. But they keep it. You wouldn't know necessarily. Like I had no idea when people are telling me about
I
this. Sometimes.
believe just on like the rumor mill that Alchemized was quite edited and rewritten
Right. I never
from
read
the version that's on
Manacled.
Wattpad.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah. So it
Which
is.
people love. People loved Manacled.
I think it's same but different. You know,
Yeah,
it's just been kind of changed for the market.
Yeah.
So it's
Which makes
not
sense.
as heavily influenced. Yeah, because
Yeah.
fanfic is one thing, isn't it? But
Yeah.
publishing
Exactly.
your
It's
own
totally
book is different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So how did you get your first deal?
So that was, I say a one-to-one, not really. So it's really messy. My journey to publication is quite messy. So I applied to a bunch of agents like you do, probably 2016. I just finished that Curtis Brown creative course. I feel like a lot of people do that course. And
Yeah.
it used to be, again, a bit cheaper. And they also do 6-week versions now and stuff. So it was the first time I'd met anyone writing novels. So even on my master's course, a lot of people were like, say, poets or writing short stories or
Did they
writing
know it?
literary. Did they? Some of them may have known it. I will not name names. Everyone was really nice and obviously much better at poetry than me, which didn't bother me at all. I'm absolutely fine about it. And so, yeah, I ended up querying the normal way after this Curtis Brown course, after my master's, finally understood like, oh, okay, I want to write novels. Didn't get anywhere. And then I entered some pitch competitions on Twitter, which used to be like really big. And I got some
Yeah.
like big names ask for my manuscript, and then I got like a full request off the back of that. So I was like, oh, great. And then whilst I was doing that, the tutor on my course at Manchester was Jeanette Winterson, and she liked to keep like in touch with us because we were her first class. I think we were
Oh,
a first class. We may have been a second class, but I'm pretty sure we were a first class. So she was like keeping in touch with us. And she said, oh, I'd love to read like the opening, send it to me. And I didn't know this, but at my agency, my previous agency, PFD, which is where she was, she just went in and printed off like the first 3 chapters. And there was a huge print queue. So they were a bit like, oh, you'll have to come back later to collect it. And she was like, that's fine. I've got stuff to do. Went off. It was central London. And then my agent, Tessa David, my first agent, she apparently like pulled it off the print thing when she went in for her thing and was like, oh, I quite like this. Whose is this?
wow.
Wow, that is such a story. That is
Yeah,
like
it's
something
strange.
How
from
have we not
film.
heard that story before?
Of all your stories, Mel, so we didn't know about the
I
print
know.
queue.
Yeah, I don't talk about myself. I'm just so lowly and humble. So obviously you haven't heard this story. Yeah, so I ended up, I think I got back to the people because I was technically openly querying with these with this next book, which happened to be, it was called The Curiosity Locker, and it was like a time travel book. So I went back to these other people, said what was happening. They came back and said, oh, let us know. But then in the meantime, Tessa offered, and I was so keen after meeting her. I was like, yes, this is like the person. And she was great. We like did lots of work on the book, sent it out. We did work on it for like a year. I didn't used to plot. This is what taught me to plot because I think there were 16 drafts of that book. It was awful. Yeah, it was really, really like a proper slog. Anyway, sent it out, was on submission for a year, died on submission, no bites. So we regrouped and I said, here's the YA I've written because it was more teeny boppy, that one. I think I thought it was YA, but really the voice was middle grade. And she said, oh, I'm kind of moving more into middle grade. Do you have any more middle grade? And I kind of plucked up the courage after a week to say, well, maybe we should see other people. Maybe I should see if anyone else wants to do YA. I don't know. Thinking she would come back and go, no, don't leave me,
Don't
Melissa. You're
leave
the
me.
best author of all time. And she came back and
Which
went,
she
you're right.
Yeah, no, she probably thought that though. She probably thought
obviously.
that and then agreed. Yeah.
Yes, so she was actually, it was great actually. She was really nice and she'd already spoken to Lucy Irvine, who's now my agent. And she was actually the assistant to Tess in the beginning. So I had loads of notes from Lucy on this previous book anyway. So we've been working together for nearly 10 years now, probably in one capacity or another. So I moved over to Lucy and then we went out on submission. in 2019, and then 2020 hit, and like, I don't know, some stuff happened in 2020. I can't possibly remember or tell
Me
you
neither. No.
what terrible things happened from March 2020. So obviously that died, and then I wrote My Love, Life, and the Apocalypse, and that sold in April 21. So I like wrote it, edited it, went out in November 2020. Because obviously at that point we're all thinking maybe this will end soon, this COVID thing. And then in the meantime, actually did sell, which is how I know you guys, Undying Tower to a very small press that was like no advance but larger royalties.
Yeah.
And then that press folded, which is why that one's been republished. So technically my debut is My Love, Life, and the Apocalypse. This is what I mean about being messy. It's never what you think it's going to be.
No, never.
Everyone's different.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you're now we're waiting for To the Death to come out this month.
Yeah.
Out the day before payday for me.
Ah,
there we go.
Next day. I have it.
Is that a final
There we go.
copy?
Yeah, I do. I have final copies here. Well, they're sending the big box soon, which, you know, you get that big box. Before I became an author, I was like, cannot wait to get that big box of books. It's gonna be so. I can see in Cynthia's office, she's got all of her like copies next to her, and it looks amazing. I thought this on a Zoom call, especially during COVID. I was like, my God, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna have all these books behind me. Currently, I just have a load of washing behind me. It's gonna be so cool. And then they all come, and it's like, there's loads of copies. I don't know what to do with all these copies.
What to do? I've got loads of my most recent one. They do dwindle as the years go on.
Yes.
Like I only have a couple of Last One to Die. I've only got a couple of Win, Lose, Kill, Die, but I've got still like 20 copies of Keep Your Friends Close. But I still hate giving them away.
Yeah, it feels
like,
weird to give them away, but where do you put them? I'm having shelves built today, which is why I'm in a room full of washing.
Ooh,
so I'm going to like put them all up. It's going to look so good. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably panic and not put them up. But
and I thought To the Death was adult, but it's not. It's like, is it crossover? Would you?
Yeah, I would say it's so we sent it out. This is interesting actually. So I had one book contract with Chicken House, then had another book with Chicken House. So I sold them 2 1-book contracts. And because I'd never been in multi-contract, I always felt you're on a treadmill a bit with publishing, if people don't know. So like I always felt like, oh God, I've got to get the next book out, or else there's going to be this huge gap before the next one. And you feel like you've got to get into the schedule, and they schedule it 2 years ahead. So I got the second book out with Chicken House. And after that one, they said, based on the sales we've seen, we are thinking, do we want to carry on down this road? Do you want to carry on doing dystopia, or do we pivot now because we've done 2 books? And to be fair, from a business perspective, I do understand where they were coming from. The problem was I'm really stubborn and wanted to keep doing dystopian. I didn't really want to do anything else. I did write them a little pitch for something else, and they were like, maybe let's keep talking, and time was ticking. And so I wrote To the Death. It was called Escape from Blood Island as an adult book. All the characters were like, I'd say new adult ages. They were like 22, 23. And we went out to, at the time, my agent was like, right, we've got this new adult wave coming through. Let's go out to both adult and YA publishers. But we were thinking we'd probably sell it as adult, and then I'd maybe carry on. We'd keep like talking at Chicken House. But then it sold to a YA imprint at Hachette, which is now called Read Tempest, I think they're called now. So it did sell to Hodder Children's, which was like a larger, and they've rebranded. So we ended up selling it as YA, which meant bringing down some of the violence. There wasn't really any sex in it. I probably, if it had sold crossover proper, I reckon I would have had to put more in, just because of where the spice levels are in that area. But yes, so I ended up sort of bringing the whole thing down, bring the word count down, that kind of stuff. And then, it sold as YA. So Chicken House were great about it, though. To be fair, I'd say my books with them are more like rom-commy, teeny, whereas these ones are older. I think if you've got a confident 14-year-old, then great. I hate giving these out, because I hate telling kids what to read, because I know I was not following any of those rules when I was reading. However, I do understand that librarians are there for safeguarding reasons. And so I would say a confident 14-year-old would be fine with it. 16 plus, absolutely fine with it. There's nothing in there that's inappropriate, but they're definitely older than my Chicken House books.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point, because we, like librarians,
Us librarians.
speaking on behalf of librarians everywhere, I think it's different in school libraries, but public libraries, when you get your child a library card, the idea is that like it's up to you to know what they're reading, like when they're under 16, really, until they're adult. And I've seen lots of conversations going on, and I think ultimately, if somebody is reading something that's a little bit over their head in terms of content, it will either go over their head, or they'll say to their mum or dad or older sister or whatever, what is this? And then it starts a conversation, and then they go, oh, actually, this isn't for me. So
I agree.
It is what it is. And actually reading about a subject or reading like a spicy sex scene, it's better to do it in the comfort of your house, space. In your bedroom, rather than going out and trying it. Do you know what I mean?
Sex, drugs, rock and roll, don't try it. Just read these books, but it's safety, safeguarding first. It's tricky. It's a really tricky conversation to have as an author, because it's not really, also it's luckily not my place to have to tell people what they can and can't read. I don't work in a school. I'm not responsible for, I don't have children, so I'm not responsible for that part of it. So it is weird for me to even talk about that, because I suppose you don't really think about the reader. Well, I don't when I'm writing. I'm not like thinking about the reader. I'm just like, I'm having fun.
Everyone listen to me.
And then someone goes, right, so we actually have to think about how to sell this. And I'm like, oh, right, yeah.
Oh, exactly. That's so funny. What I was going to say, you mentioned about your process, like your outline thing, because within the inner circle of our little like writing groups and all that sort of thing, you're renowned for your massive like planning and outline. So would you mind just sharing a little bit about that?
So as I say, I wrote my first book and did not plot it. And I swear I literally checked once, and I think there was something called draft 16, which is just hell. And we did edit it for like a year, and now we don't do that. Like, I don't know if it's just necessarily Lucy's process versus Tess's process. I don't know. But it does feel like it's a lot less difficult usually, even if I have to work on, because I always have to work on something like characterization or world building, but they usually say, oh, but the plot's pretty solid, actually. So I always hope that's because I've been plotting. So I'm a Save the Cat person. I write commercial fiction. I'm not looking to write literary fiction right now. I don't think my plotting method would work with literary fiction. I use Save the Cat, which is a 15-point process, easily Googleable. You don't need to buy the book necessarily, but there is a book if you're interested in learning about it. And it basically gives me a percentage for each section. And it means I always write 3,000 word chapters. If I'm aiming for 90,000 words, then that's 30 chapters. I'm literally picking that because it's easy maths for me. So then I can work out, the 10% mark for the catalyst to happen, that's at 9,000 words. That's at the end of chapter 3. It's like, it makes it easier for me. And that's only because
I do that now, Melissa.
Oh, do you?
Very proud. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I love converts. It's great. I love to convert people to my cult. It's useful. I think sometimes it helps if you're writing a first draft and you've got, say, if you're writing I didn't realize I was writing it as fantasy, but I'm writing an adult fantasy at the minute, and I've just handed in edits on it. And there's no way I could keep all of the fantastical elements in my head and do justice with them, as well as an entire plot to hang them all off, because they're like the ornaments on the tree, right? I need the tree. Like, I need it to be solid so I can hang everything else on it and make it look nice. So, I do use Save the Cat. I hope that by the end, I think a lot of people make it really generic. And I kind of hope that, most stories you read, probably, people love to say, oh, there's only 7 stories and there's all these. However, I'd hope it's not by the end that the characters are interesting enough in the world and the moral of the story, etc., is interesting enough that it's not generic. But obviously that's for Goodreads to decide, which I never check, ever.
Which I blocked today. But no, you're right. There are so many stories and blah, blah, blah. However, I could tell you an idea right now and you and me would go away and write completely different books.
Yes, that's so true.
It would just be completely different because it's all about the person writing it and the way you see things. And then that even trickles down to the reader where, how many times has someone gone, oh, I didn't think the character looked like that. Or this is what I think the setting looks like. And it's like, well, I know what it looks like because it's in my brain and I invented it. But somebody reading it is going to have a completely different experience. And that's pretty wonderful. So
that's the joy of it, really.
Even though you're doing that plot,
Yeah.
and it's quite prescriptive in one way.
Yeah.
It is just helpful. I do use Save the Cat. I used to use it quite loosely. This time I've used it a bit more. And then I really got stuck on my midpoint because it wasn't my midpoint. And I realized that every time I use Save the Cat, when it says that you have that midpoint, that is always my 2/3.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
it's
whatever
like
way
loaded.
Yeah, whatever way I structure, and I seem to like build, and then I have something happen, and then you have the fallout of it.
Yeah,
and
like
it's
quite a quick finale,
a speedy ending.
Yeah.
And that seems to have happened in every single book. And once I clocked that this time, I'm kind of ready now to go back in because I'm like, okay, so I've hit the word count midpoint, but I've not actually hit what I needed to, and that's okay because then
you can adapt it for what you need it to be as well. This is the thing about, I always say to people, it's a guide, not a straitjacket. Like I think people think, you're just ruining my creativity. I just want to, it's like, no, great, pop off, King. Like go and write for 30 minutes and just have fun. I love doing that as well, but don't expect it to be coherent at all. The writing comes in the rewriting anyway. Like even with my plotting, I have to do so much editing to get all the other elements in and make it neat and make it not look like a naked Christmas tree, because then it would just be really obvious that I've used, say, a plotting method. So there's loads of editing to do. I just personally find if the plot is solid, no matter how you do that plot, at least you don't have to think about plot holes.
Yeah. And I mean, they'll still be there. There'll still be something that you pick up on the way. Like even as I write, I'm kind of like, I know that this bit isn't working enough, so I'm going to have to go back. But as long as you can recognize those things, I always kind of write my editors a letter on the last page saying, these are the things that I think I need to address in the next round. What do you think?
I do that.
And please help.
It's so useful. I think just admitting, sometimes I used to think, don't show them you're weak. Like, don't tell them that you've done something wrong. Maybe they won't notice. They'll always notice. But it can be helpful sometimes if you can't see the wood from the trees.
Yeah.
I was just looking up something because I couldn't remember the name of it, but I recently pitched a couple of rom-coms and was like using Save the Cat to try and do like a little plan or a little outline. And I get really hung up. I find it really useful, and I've written books using Save the Cat. I think I was getting too hung up on some of the points. Like towards the end where it's like Dark Night of the Soul and then this and then this and then this. And you're like, whoa.
And it's all in a really small amount of time. And you're like,
it is. And I was getting in a pickle about that. And so what I was trying to like pitch wasn't necessarily fitting within that. So I was like Googling romance structures, and I couldn't remember what it was called. I thought it was called Romancing the Cat.
Romancing the Beast.
It's called Romancing the Beast.
I know that one, not the cat. That's bestiality and me.
Yes, that's something else. That's something else. Don't Google
romance
that,
your cat
guys.
at home.
Yeah,
try that.
But Romancing the Beat is excellent. If anybody out there is like writing, or even if you want like a little subplot that's like a little romantic thing, that's
what I've used it for.
Yeah, it's ideal, and it's so recognizable from all of the big like films and stories that you know in romance. So yeah, highly recommend that. Romancing the Beats, not the cat.
Not the cat. Don't do it to the cat. Leave the cat alone.
So just going back to your process, Melvs, what little bit of research have you brought for us to talk about today?
Oh, yes. So what's funny about, so obviously thinking back to the Death, so as people know, I've literally just written book 2 of my contract. I have probably not looked at To the Death for many months. And obviously this is a podcast about research, and Cynthia asked me, what's your research? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I researched anything. Because interestingly for me, To the Death, which is different to my other dystopias, is it's sort of set in I suppose a lot of people have asked me if it's a post-apocalyptic Britain in the same way that Panem is a post-apocalyptic America in the Hunger Games. But it's also very unrecognisable. And I suppose that I had thoughts it could be, but it's kind of a second world fantasy almost. So if people don't know, it's about an island full of vampire zombie hybrids. And that island is quarantined by by the government when that virus spreads, and they try and send aid, but then realize quite quickly it's quite fascinating to watch the survivors on the island and quite interesting. So they start sending cameras, and then sort of a decade passes. We have all these people living on this island being watched by the general public on the mainland, and they enter a competition to win a ticket off the island. So it was a bit more second fantasy than I'm used to. So I realized I must have done quite a bit of research. And then I think the two things I could think of. So the first thing I went to is at the time I was writing this, which was January 2024, I remember that, and I know she's a really big fan of the podcast, so I'm sorry in advance, Rebecca, but Rebecca Yaros, who wrote Fourth Wing, because obviously she listens to every episode.
Yeah.
I remember there was a big backlash on the internet that she had used names in Fourth Wing that were Celtic names, but there was an argument about whether they were Scottish Celtic, Irish Celtic, and she was pronouncing them all wrong when she was saying them. So I must admit, I've read Fourth Wing, can't pronounce any of the names. And so I listened to the audiobook, and sometimes I literally go on Spotify just to listen to like the beginning of a chapter, just to check how someone's name's pronounced, especially the dragon names. And because she's American, she's a white American, so it's possible there's some Celtic blood in there, probably. But I remember she got in really big trouble for it, and people felt very offended that she had taken something that was so important to their culture and just butchered it, even though it was her book. And it started an interesting debate about, I mean, Fourth Wing, again, if no one's read it, that's also Second World Fantasy. It's completely made up. Things like nothing's real in it. It's absolutely fine. So, but I do understand that when you're writing a book, especially even if it's Second World Fantasy, you have this historical background of your readers, right? So if you've got a gay character, a black character, another thing that I looked at in mine, which I remembered whilst going through this process, was I have a deaf mute character, and they use a lot of sign language. So you do have a real world reader who's reading something and has like a cultural, historical background and thoughts about this and of cultural appropriation, and then you've got somebody making stuff up. So I remember that debate going on. I thought it was really interesting, and then also kind of scary. A lot of people really turned on her for it. I'm still looking at both sides of the debate. I don't even know where I sit on it. But I was very keen. I remember at the time I had to name my characters, and usually when I name my characters, I just use the phonetic alphabet because I like to make sure people have different letters and stuff. So I just call them like Charlie and Whiskey and November, and I always give like the naughty one the name Whiskey and stuff like that. But this one I decided to go through. I was also watching Vikings, and I am, if people don't know, the whitest person in the whole world. I did one of those like tests, and like literally my entire background, and every now and then the DNA test, like our DNA test got better. We found more regions you're from, and the more regions I'm from is like more of Sweden and Norway, or more of the northwest of England, or more of Scotland. Like
I am English and Irish.
Yeah,
that is it. Once upon a time, I was 6% Italian, and I was so proud of that fact. And then when they redid the like, we've got better, they're like, no, not anymore.
They were like, throw away your pasta.
Yeah,
no Italy for you. Yeah, this is the thing. So I'm like very, very white, but I thought it was interesting that I do have like Germanic-y Norwegian, and I've been watching Vikings, and I thought, I know, it'd be really cool if they had like these Anglo-Saxon names. Also, I'd done history degree, so I looked up Anglo-Saxon names and named them for that. And then interestingly, when I absolutely was not going on any opinion sites such as Goodreads, and definitely not reading any reviews at all, somebody said, oh, the names were quite similar to the Hunger Games. And I thought that was really interesting because this book is pitched as the Hunger Games because it's a televised death games, and they're trying to do all these challenges. And I thought it was interesting they said that, because I know from being a big Hunger Games fan that all of those names are like Roman names and Greek names and senator names like Coriolanus. And I thought it was interesting that I'd taken something from actually later than that time period, but they'd seen, maybe it was because it was historical that they thought that, but I thought it was quite interesting that they thought it was similar. So that was something I researched.
I don't know if I would say they were, but maybe the vibe of it, maybe because they are slightly unusual names.
Yes, yeah, because I did slightly bastardize them, probably. Like some of them I did twist, but in the same way though that it's really interesting when you see a name and then you realize, oh, that name was originally like Daisy's a derivative of Margaret, because Margaret was originally, I can't even think what the name is now, but it began with a D. So like that's where those derivatives come from. So I did change them a bit because obviously it's like futuristic because it's TV cameras and stuff like that, but some of them are kept exactly the same. So it's interesting. I think people do pick up on a vibe. I think a vibe's a tough one
to
to escape. But that was the
I
first part that I'd like
Go on.
massively researched. And
Mm.
then the next part was I then realized, which after I spoke to you guys, I was like, oh, obviously I did loads of this. So I ended up taking 6 months of sign language
Oh
courses.
yeah, of
I
course
know
you did.
this
Yeah.
didn't. What's funny is, which I really love, and I really hope I've had authenticity readers reading specifically for those scenes. Obviously, again, I didn't want them speaking BSL in the book because I want them using a sign language that doesn't necessarily equate it to any particular place on the earth. And there's lots of different
Mm.
sign languages. But again, as we were saying, there's lots of like background sign language. I need to understand whether to use a capital D or a little d, whether they're part of the deaf community, hard of hearing community. And I wanted to understand how sign language worked with expressions for describing it. So I did do 6 months of sign language, which I really enjoyed. I think it's like my favorite language to learn. I'm also dyslexic, and I don't know if like that puts me off so much more written and spoken word. But I really
Mm.
enjoyed using sign language. And then during that process, my partner got diagnosed as part of the deaf community, hard of hearing, and is getting hearing aids. And I feel like unless we were looking into all this stuff, he would
Yeah.
not have got round to it. And it's just very interesting how like these things all come apart. And I've actually written in
Yeah.
the second book in the acknowledgements, like during writing these books, like I found out that my partner
Mm.
is also hard of hearing, which was crazy. So yes, so those are like the two things I remember massively doing. One, because it was happening at the time on the internet, which is maybe not
Mm.
the best reason to do something, but that is where all the character names come from. And the other one, just because I've just always thought, we've all seen, oh, what's it called? Quiet Place. And
Oh
obviously they all
yeah.
Yes.
speak sign language in that. But people don't think of it as a sort of like necessarily deaf movie. And I
Hmm.
think that's really good the way they did. And I've noticed on the reviews that I absolutely have not read, nobody's even really mentioned it, which is quite nice because I wanted it to just sit in as this is just something they do because they want to
Yeah.
be
Mm.
quiet because there are monsters. They use sign language. The
Well,
end.
it
Mm.
feels very natural and it just
Good.
feels like a human thing of, yeah, when you're in kind of, if you were in
Yeah.
that kind of community and you're in peril constantly, you would come up with your own
Yeah.
way to communicate. And that
Yes.
seems to be a sensible way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I hope is that it's not. Although I don't want it to not be a star of the story because I found it really interesting and I
Yeah.
put a lot
Mm.
into it. But I've not even noticed really anyone talking about that part. They're just talking about the action and stuff like that, which is nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm.
I think as well, going back to the names,
Yeah.
there's a lot to be said these days about because our readers are online and
Yeah.
they, have opinions and they want them to be heard, which is completely valid. And there is a lot to be said for looking at that stuff
Yeah.
and learning from it. And I think that's
Yeah.
what you did. You were kind of like, well, I could just go and do this, but actually people were upset by it. So I'm not
Yes.
going to. I'm going to go and find a different way to do it that is
Yes.
still good for me,
Yeah.
is, hopefully not going to kind of offend anybody.
Yeah.
And that's kind of all we can do when these things come up, that you look at
Yeah.
it and go, okay, I see your point, and this is
Yeah.
what I'm going to try and do to address it.
Yeah. The problem
So,
is when you're a blockhead about it. So, like, you read a review and you reply, never do that. Obviously, as an
no,
author, that's stupid. Or if somebody says, so I've had authenticity readers for various things, and it wasn't just for that. It was also for, say, mental health language, because obviously the characters don't have great mental health in the book.
yeah,
And they also have not really been trained. They haven't had any HR training on how to speak to each other. And they're obviously
yeah,
on a televised show. So, yeah, it was really interesting because the thing is, whenever I'm given that, there is a sting. I'm a privileged white middle class straight person, and there is a quick sting of, oh gosh, I've got that wrong, and that is a bit embarrassing. But then
hmm
also this person's told me very politely how to fix it, and we've paid someone to ask how to
Mm.
fix it, and so I can fix it. And there'll always probably be someone else saying this is not authentic to my experience, but that's okay. I'll just
Mm.
learn for the next time. That's how I kind of feel
Yeah.
about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and and things like that, names. It's
Yeah.
you don't always think about it, and then
No.
you know you've been exposed to people talking about it, so you've done like your due diligence, and that's
Yes.
that's all we can kind of do. Um, yeah, but I think
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
Mm.
Yeah, don't do what I do, which is decide what year they were born and then go and find out what the most
No, I do
popular
that as
names
well.
were that year. But also, that's how you end up. I was talking about this on a pod that hasn't aired because it didn't work, but I had on something I'm working on at the moment, I had like 5 characters all with the name beginning with A
Yeah.
because I'd done that and
Yeah.
I'd gone to like most popular names for that year, and it was like Alicia, Asher, you know, and so yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, I do have a few too many C names, I think, in this one. But I'm quite good because, as I say, I
Yeah,
usually use phonetic
it's
alphabet
weird.
and then just pick. I make sure I just keep the first letter, and that's absolutely fine. But I didn't necessarily do that this time, so then I have ended up with a few similar names, I think. But it's fine.
Yeah.
It's all right. Lots of people die. Like some of them aren't in it very long,
You
are
can't
they?
remember everyone. Okay.
No, that's it. I veer between doing that, looking at what year the people were born.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, no, I want this name to have a meaning.
Yes.
So it
I've
needs
done that before.
it needs to have a specific meaning. And it's fine if only I know it, but
Yeah.
you know, someone
Yes,
else might pick up on it one day. Or it might feed into the plot at some point. Or
Yeah.
When we had Andy Darcy Theo on, he was saying how much research he did into all of the names in his books.
yeah. Oh, and it was like astrological and all sorts, wasn't it?
Yeah. I always work out what star sign my characters are,
Do you?
so I
I've
know
never
what
done
kind
that.
of person they are.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. I like to know a birthday, but I think mainly to get an
Mm.
idea of kind of how old they are and
Yeah.
if they're just about to turn 18, because my characters are generally 17.
Right.
So are they just 17? Are they just about to turn 18?
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
I
a
feel
big
like there's a
age,
big
isn't it?
difference.
Yeah.
I'm reading someone at the minute who's like 183 or something, which is quite
That's hard to
exciting.
keep hold of, though, sometimes. I find that when I'm watching Vampire Diaries, and then the title of the episode will be 164 candles, because they're obviously going off 16 candles, and I'm like, 106. Is that right?
Yeah.
When did they? I would be terrible for that kind of stuff. I know I would be. I'd
Yeah.
need like a chart.
So Melvs, talking of Vampire Diaries, what are you what TV and books and music and film are you enjoying at the moment? Tell us.
Oh, I've just started watching season 2 of Paradise. It's like, it's so me. If anyone listens to this, if my 3 fans are listening to this, right, hear me out.
Well,
You
2
will
of them are
love
here,
Paradise.
so
If that one other
Two of them
person,
that one other
if Callum is
person
listening,
yes, my partner's listening, then you will love. I know because you've seen it with me. Paradise. It's such a bit of me. So it's about. It's by the guy who did. Was it called This Is Us? Yes, which of course is like a contemporary thing, like about life and the meaning of life and stuff like that. But this is completely different. So it's about people living in an underground bunker. All of the billionaires built an underground bunker, and the end of the world has already happened. But somebody murders the president in the underground bunker, and you don't know who it is. And then in the second season, you're learning a lot about outside the bunker and what happened. And it's such a bit of me. It's like a mixture of like Lost and like Walking Dead and Fallout. And I'm just like, it's so good.
oh, it sounds good.
Has it got one of the actors from This Is Us in it?
Yes, it does.
Yes, yeah, I have seen it
Xavier,
advertised. Yeah.
Yes, he's very
Cool.
good. Yeah. And all the actors really fit as well. It's always nice.
Yeah.
When everyone's good looking.
I mean,
Like at the end of the world, we checked everyone was good looking before letting them into the bunker. And that's the sort of rule I would have too.
exactly. If I'm going to watch TV, I want everyone to be better looking than me on it. You know, that's why I'm watching it.
I'm not watching a documentary, so.
And what are you reading at the moment, Mills?
I've got loads of stuff on the go because I've been sent very nicely some proofs. So I think I'm reading, yes, at the minute actually on my Kindle, I've got Kat Foxfield's. It's Our Wicked Gifts, isn't it? I'm terrible with Kindle. Once I've started, I don't know what it's called anymore because it's like I never see the. Oh, you've got a physical.
Yeah,
there you go.
I've got a physical. I'll talk
Nice.
about that next time.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, and there's some characters in there called Cynthia and Melissa. And
There
I have
are.
a friend that's reading an advanced copy, and she just finished it and posted on her Instagram story that she'd finished it and loved it. And so I messaged her and I said, "Oh, what do you think of Melissa?" And she was like, why are you asking me this weird question? And I was like, well, have you noticed she looks a bit like me on the cover, like little fringe and dark hair. Have you noticed? And she was like, God, I'm so glad you didn't tell me that in advance because I would have just thought of you the whole time. And it's what we were saying about how people look. She's like, I did not imagine you at all. It was not you. And I'm like, well, that's good because she's really awful. But also, it's like, it's basically me. So.
Hey, is there a Georgia in there? No, rude.
Catherine,
Right.
book 2. sort it out.
Yes,
No, we're
actually, yeah,
done.
there you go. That's what keeps her in books. Just all of her friends going, me in the next one. I want a name. I
I
want a
do
name check.
remember because we're in a little group, aren't we, with Kat? And
Yeah.
she did kind of float the thing. She said, "So I'm writing this book." She said, "And I've just got these placeholder names in because I was trying to think of names." And there's Cynthia and Melissa, and the characters are really, really horrible. So I was just checking if you minded if I kept them or if you wanted me to change them. And immediately we both went, "Keep them."
Yeah, keep them.
That's
I want to be in
amazing.
it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, love to everything to be about me. So that's very good.
That's the title of this podcast.
Yeah, the title is Melissa's special podcast featuring Georgia and Cynthia. And then, but listening to, you said listening to, and I'm sure you weren't actually expecting an answer. However, I just watched Bridgerton. We were talking about part one in our Discord. I've watched the second part, and I'm obsessed with, because I love especially when I'm writing, I'm quite a classical music person anyway, but when I'm writing, I love listening to like instrumental, especially stuff like Hans Zimmer, or, if I'm writing an action scene, I like to listen to action music. That's a good writing tip. If you're struggling to write like a sad scene, listen to a song that plays in the background of a really sad scene in a film. That's always really helpful. But yes, I've been listening to the Charlie XCX 360 strings cover, like string quartet cover from Bridgerton, which is famously online, the one where Hyacinth does her little skippy dance. She does like a crip walk around the ballroom to Charlie XCX, and it is such a good song. It's an absolute banger. It's like playing in my head all the time on repeat. Oh, so good.
Yeah, the music is so good. They did an Olivia Rodrigo.
Yes, they did.
Bad Idea, right? And that was brilliant.
It's really
so good.
They've had some absolute bangers this season, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Georgia doesn't watch Bridgerton, do you?
No, I don't get much TV time.
Yeah.
I mean, it is long.
Only when I've been good. Only when I've been good. Yeah.
It's
you
just
looked
so
off to
lovely.
the side of the camera there, like, only when I've been good. Like, is your jailer there? Do you need to blink twice? Are you okay?
He's just passed me my water quota for the day.
Lucky, spoiled. Hashtag.
Yeah. So, Melvs, what's next then? You were talking about you've done your second. You've been working on your second novel for this thing. So, can you tell us any more about that? Or
I feel like I can now because they've printed the books. So, obviously, I'm so sorry if you're not like watching the podcast, because I mean, to be fair, I actually usually just listen. So but at the back of the book it does actually say look out for book 2 coming 2027. So I feel like I can say it now. So yes, I was working on the sequel to the Death. I can't say what it's called, obviously, because it says book 2 at the back of there. Funnily enough, the first version, here goes a little insider to me sat at my desk all day and pretending to have an exciting life, but it's really just email pings every now and then. I got an email through and it was like, here's the final like internal print and a PDF, which is always quite exciting because it looks like an actual book, like has borders around the writing and stuff like that. And then she sent it me and then immediately said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I sent you the wrong version. Delete that version." And I'm looking, I must admit, I looked between the two and I thought, they look exactly the same. What are you talking about? But the difference was on the back page, they put the title of the book too. And then in this one, they did not. So I assume I'm not allowed to say the title.
Right. Yeah.
But that's what I've been working on. I don't know, actually.
A cover reveal moment. That's
mystique.
why. Yeah.
For the marketing.
Do you know what, though?
For the EIG, yeah.
I have a little idea for a book that you know, but don't say that. I've been so worried that someone is going to steal the title because it's such a great title.
Yeah.
But it was on the hot list, right?
And it's in the world now.
Yeah. I'm glad it's out there. I'm glad it's out there because I was like, it's going to. So I'm just, I don't know why. Yeah. You have to whisper it to us, the title, or have you told us already?
I can't actually remember if I've told you guys, but yeah, don't worry, Georgia. Melliver the biography. Nobody else was going to write it, so it's okay. You've got it now. I gave it especially for you, so it's fine. Unofficial biography, obviously, because we're not. I'm not giving you any messages, but bad times. So,
Melvs, if people want to, learn more about you, where can they find you online?
Well, the reason everyone calls me Melvs is because I love this, because sometimes if I have a book launch or something and I have IRL friends, in real life friends, because I don't have many, and they'll be like, why is everyone calling you Melliver? That's really weird. Like, everyone just caused me this. Because all my friends are chronically online like me because we're all stuck in our houses. So yes, you can find me basically everywhere at Melliver, which is my last name but with an M instead of a W. Or on TikTok, annoyingly, Melliver was taken. Who took Melliver?
Who is this
I know. So I think I'm just
person?
Melissa Welliver on TikTok, which is
Oh,
I don't even
boring.
remember my handle. It's that boring. So I'm cross that I lost Melliver at that point. But yes, I'm just Melliver everywhere. I'm on all the things when I should be writing. If there's a social media, I'm probably there somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And just a reminder that To the Death is out on the 26th of March.
Yeah, this year,
Yeah.
2026.
Yeah, not long now.
I
And
know.
it's brilliant. I got an early copy and just absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and your quote's on the front cover.
Quotes on the cover. Can't see it.
Really
It's
good.
blurred. But
Oh,
there
no.
we go.
Oh, no. Oh.
Is it,
No, it's not
is
gonna.
it very
It's not gonna
sweary?
focus.
Is it a very sweary quote?
Yeah, that's why it's
Is that
blurred.
why it's
Yeah,
blurred?
just like we can't have this on the podcast. Even
just-
this
Yeah,
podcast.
this is
No.
beep, 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 beep. Amazing.
What a great quote that would be when you can't
It
think
would
of
be.
what to say for someone. This is
Yeah.
You could do it in stars. I feel like people would love that, especially like
would,
that
yeah.
upper end of YA. It's a bit naughty, isn't it?
I was reading a comic book with my little boy yesterday. Donut. It was Donuts. I can't remember the title of it, but it's like a graphic novel. It's really good. It's it's one of the Phoenix comics, like author, illustrator people. And there was this whole section, and it's all these different donuts, and they have different like personalities. One of the donuts is a pirate. I can't remember his name, but he just swears all the time. So he's
Oh,
really
nice.
salty. But in the comic, he's like talking, and then it just says beep. And I was trying to explain to my little boy who's 6 what was going on, and it took a few goes, and then he was like, "Oh, those kind of words." And I was like, "Yeah." And I have to just tell you quickly, he does know these words, but he doesn't use them. And one we were watching
Never.
Jurassic Park. We all sat down to watch Jurassic Park, and I said to them, "Look, you're gonna probably hear some swearing in this film." But that's okay because we're all watching it together as long as you don't say these words at school. And my little boy said, "I know the F word." And I was like, "Oh, do you?" And I said, "What is it then?" And he said, "Fart."
And you were like, no, his name's President Trump, and we don't speak his name in this house.
Yeah. But at first I was like, "Oh, where has he heard that word then?" But then I was like, "Oh, it's okay. He's still a little innocent."
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
I wonder if they just go over his head as well, if there is a swear
Yeah.
word on screen, and if nobody reacts, if he's just like,
Mm. He has heard me say the F word in the car, of course,
yeah,
because I then
obviously.
heard him saying it, and I was like, he actually said he was going, "What the F? What the F?" And I was like,
It's when
"Where
they use
did
it in
you hear that?"
context, and you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I said, "Where did you hear that?" And he said, I'm thinking, at school, he's just started beavers. What kind of language are they using around these places? And he said, "In the car." And I was like, "Your father sharing this sort of language with you?" And I said, "When was it?" And he said, "When you had your Diet Coke on the roof and you forgot, and then the car stopped and it rolled off and you ran over it and it
Oh, that
exploded."
sounds like an F
That's when
word,
you
yes.
said it. Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh."
That's a correct use. That's the only time you're allowed to use it when you're
Yeah,
driving.
exactly.
You leave
but
the
that is a
Diet Coke.
core memory. Like,
Yeah.
he's never going to forget that. Ever.
Oh dear. Right. Well, Melissa Welliver.
That's
Is that
me.
right? Just doesn't
Apparently that's
sound
my name.
right.
It doesn't.
It's my birth name.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure having you on, and you're welcome
Thanks.
anytime
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I will.
to
I'll come back.
frequent the pod, and can't wait to see your book doing brilliantly in the shops. And
Yes, go buy it. It's a bit
Yeah.
dystopian. It's a bit horror.
Yeah.
It's a bit World War Z meets
Yeah.
the Hunger Games, and
yeah.
dystopia's coming back, baby. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I hear, both in real life and in books.
yeah, true. Isn't it funny how that works?
It's just around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All our 17-year-old girls need to get ready to rise up, don't they? And
I mean, honestly, yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Time to save the world, girls.
Come
Yeah.
on, let's go. International Women's Day yesterday. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Browser history deleted.